Welcome everyone. Stephanie Lee Medium here, doing my monthly book review on The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. We're on the third week and on the third agreement, which is don't make assumptions. This is such a great agreement because I just think about how many times people assume someone else is doing something that they're not doing, or they are doing, or they don't know what's going on, right? So, if you're at work and you're like on a project and you're like, oh, aren't you doing that? Oh, I thought you were doing that. And they're like, I thought you were doing that. And then, oh, no one is doing that? Oh, that's a problem, right? Like you're always making, oh, I just assumed that so-and-so was taking care of that. Instead of asking the question, is so-and-so taking care of that, right? You just made this assumption. And now this creates this huge drama and this swirl and, oh my gosh. I mean, we tend to make assumptions. Like we hear something, we make an assumption. We don't hear something about it, we make an assumption. And now we have these stories that are just swirling in our heads about all these things that we think are happening, which we think is the truth. And we're going down this path and we're like, oh, I just assumed that. And I shouldn't have. And oh, I should have asked the question, but I didn't. Right? So it's like, it just becomes like a snowball effect, right? And it's just, the snowball just keeps going down the hill, and now we're in trouble because it has rolled way far away, right? So when we make assumptions, like if we're arguing with a loved one or something, and you say, hey, how are you doing this morning? And they come up to you and they kind of give you a gruff face, they don't even answer, and they turn around and they leave, right? And you're like, if you're making assumptions, if you're at the point where you're making assumptions, you're like, the story starts to go in your head. He doesn't love me anymore. He's going to leave me. He's going to walk out the door. We're going to have a huge fight. Whatever it is, right? Because your mind is just, it just starts going. What is going on? What is he thinking? What is happening, right? So if you learn not to make assumptions, then you just go, okay, he's doing his thing. He's not ready to talk right now. When he's ready to talk, we will have a talk, and that'll be okay. And whatever's going on is whatever's going on. Because once you start making those assumptions, the swirl happens, especially with our loved ones. It just happens so quickly because we love them so much and we want the best for them. But really, just let them be, because their reaction to you, just like in the second agreement about don't take things personally, it's all about what is going on in their world, right? They've got something they're dealing with. They've got something that's going on that you don't know what it is because they haven't shared it with you yet. And it's them trying to figure it out, right? So they got to go off, figure it out, come back, ask for help or not, or just say, I was just not in a good mood, or I had a bad dream, or something bad at work happened today and I just wasn't ready to talk about it. Just don't make assumptions. Just don't do it, because it just leads to failure and it leads to drama, and who wants that? Don't take things personally and don't make assumptions. Two very wonderful agreements. So I will see you next week for the final week of the Four Agreements. And if you would love a reading with me, I would love to do one for you. Please go to my website, stephanieleemedium.com, and I'll see you next week. Bye.